everybody, it's me, Tokkuri Yashi, and we are back again to look at yet another new character. They are throwing them out left, right and centre here. Today we're going to have a look at Louise Marie, Louis-chan, our dear girl, and the first of the Alchemy trio to be released to us this month. So, as always, basically have a quick look at her banner. She is a limited character, as always. If they're not limited, you should be more surprised these days. But what is a little bit of a surprise is her banner is here until the 15th of May. We're going to have what looks like a full-length banner. So this is suggesting that we're only going to be getting one more new character this month, which could be a good thing to give a little bit of a break from the pressure, but at the same time, all of you that are waiting for Iroha or Sono, potentially one of them is not going to be arriving this month and might get a bit of the winter Cheru treatment and appear many months down the line in the future, just slotted in at random somewhere, so we won't really have any kind of an idea when she's going to appear. So let's go then and have a look at Louise Marie. First of all, we can have a look at this graphic again with her skills. She's a buffer role, she's fire type, she is a magical character. She does sit quite far back actually, 754 is her position, it's just behind Xmas Lariel. But we can also have a look at her loop pattern here, which is very good. Skill 2 is the first action that she performs, which means everyone will get this state of harmony straight away. We'll go cover what state of harmony is in a minute. And when we get to a loop pattern, it's just a normal attack, skill 2, skill 1, a very simple but very good loop pattern here. That is the sign of a new modern character. So let's jump in there and have a look at those skills in a little bit more detail. So where is she on our list? Here is Louise Marie. We did do our summons for her yesterday. We had a lot of fun. Thank you for everybody that turned up to watch those summons. If you haven't had the chance to look at them yet, then please do so. As I said, we had a lot of fun, a lot of nibbling fun. Anyway, Louise Marie then. So first she has a Union Burst. And as we can see here, if the physical defense of one enemy character in front of you is lower than the magical defense of that character, it will deal extra large magical damage that is treated as physical damage. So basically, this is just a single target attack, 4.2 times magical attack, that changes damage type to whichever defense is lower. I must say, it's probably a bit of a gimmick. There will be a lot of characters, including Louise Marie, that is lowering magical defense, so it's most likely that magical defense will be the lowest. So it's usually going to be magical damage anyway, but it may come in handy at some point. On top of that, she will increase the magical attack power of all allies by a large amount, magical crit by a large amount, and magical crit damage by a small amount. So that is a magical attack buff, 30 times skill level, which is 10,530. Mine is limit broken, so she has got an extra 10 levels on that skill. All allies, magical crit buff of 100, and buff damage, crit buff damage of 5%. Now these last for 18 seconds, but it's not as simple as that. We will cover that in a very short while. Each time this skill is used, she will add one counter to herself, which will increase the damage up to a maximum of 2 times. The effects and duration of the status increase is increased from the 3rd time onwards. So basically, she will add counters onto her up to a maximum of 3. Damage will be increased by 2.1 times the number of counters, which will cap at 4.2. So 2.1 times the 2 counters will be 4.2. So that means she will have a maximum of 8.4 times. Magical attack as damage, whichever, once she has done this Union Burst twice. When she gets her 3rd instance of this Union Burst, she will get the 3rd counter, and that will change all buff durations to permanent. So the magical attack buff, the magical crit buff, and the magical crit damage buff will all become permanent and stack, not 18 seconds, so this is very good. From the 3rd Union base, damage will really start to ramp up for the team. There we go. As you can see, she applies a counter every time she does this Union base. So there we go, that is the Union base. Let's move on then to her skill 1, and we can see here that it will increase the magical attack power of all allies by a large amount. That is, for me, 7,020, 20 times skill level. Increase TP gain by a small amount there, that's 5. And all allies TP boost buff of 5 there. We get there eventually, yes, a TP boost buff of 5. In addition, if the physical defense of an enemy character in front of you is lower than their magical defense, then it will deal large magical damage that is treated as physical. So again, this time it's 2.8 times magical attack as single target damage, which changes to whichever defense is lowest. And as we see here, she also decreases magical defense by a small amount, 176. There we go. It's likely that magical defense will be lower, so it's just going to be kind of irrelevant, that little passive, but like I said, it might come in handy at some point. Skill 2 then, quickly. Increases all allies' magical attack power by a large amount. Again, 7,020. Increases their magical defense by a large amount. So a magical defense buff of a 351 there. And then we'll grant this state of harmony. Whilst in harmony, has this harmony reading one of these books that she has. Allies take damage calculated based on the high of their physical defense or magical defense. So this is new? It's kind of a reverse of what she has with her damage. Allies will then take damage based on whichever defense they have higher. Well, she is increasing magical defense here. So again, you would have thought magical defense would be higher. What if you're facing a physical opponent and then they do magical damage, or they do, and then the damage will be taken to magical, which means because your defense is higher in magical damage, it's going to be more useful than the attack changing its damage type. This is kind of your defense changing its damage type, which I think is going to be a lot more useful. Like I said, than on the attack side. She also recovers a small amount of hit points, 17,000 odd, and TP 80 to the team, which is also very handy. Oh, there's a lot of overlap here, I think, with Lind. This is one of the things I was thinking when I first saw her. We've got plenty of buffers, plenty of supports on fire magic. But we don't know, is she really going to go overlap with Lind, or will they work very well together? Let's go have a little look at a team example. We're going to test her out and give her a little bit of a team example for her. Okay, so to show what Louise Marie has brought to the fire magic team, we're going to take on Madam Prism, who is one of the bosses we fought last time in clan battle. So if you see here, there is a team that we're gonna run this team here. 3003. Lindworm, Aerial Crotchet, Ameth, and Expressori. That's the team I ran last clan battle when I fought this boss. It says here 206 million. This is for just an automatic team. There is a simple timeline for this team actually, which is claimed 244 million, 267 million if you are a whale. But because we don't have a timeline for Louise Marie, we're gonna just have to run set and forget just to get some kind of a comparison. So we can see here we're expecting about 206 million damage from this team here. So let's jump back into the game and we'll send in this team and then we'll come back once we have got a bit of a test score here. If we quickly do that and that, there we go. We'll come back with a bit of a test score here and we can see how much Louise Marie has improved this fire magical team, at least against Madam Prism. Okay, so we are back at the end of this first test fight here with Ameth, taking the 5th role on this team. And we can see there we managed to score on my account 212 million damage. 212 million damage on this automatic team. That is the damage breakdown there. So let's go back in. We'll take on Madame Prism again, but this time we're going to take out Ameth and we're going to put in Louise Marie. Here she is. See how much more damage she can do, help this team to do against Madame Prism here. So I'll quickly set it all. I think it is better to have Aaron set as well, so we'll run it like that. And what I was thinking was, when she came, like I said, Louise Marie is another support character. There's a lot of support characters on this team, but they all seem to have their own individual roles. But Lind at the front there, who is a bit of a healer, and takes a bit of a support role. There's a bit of healing on there, as well as the damage barrier. Worm, he's also got a damage barrier, and is a bit more of a magical defense debuffer. She's probably on this team the character that does the second most damage as well. He's not huge, but he's the second most damage. Then you've got Throchi. Now she's here mostly for action speed, lowering the opponent's action speed and raising our action speed. And then of course you've got Xmas and Ariel there, who is the big nuke DPS. So fitting another support on the team. Well, there we go. What is this role in for Louise Marie? As we've seen with her kit, she's got a bit of a gimmicky, keeping us alive with the changing of the defense. She's got a bit of very good support though when it becomes permanent after her third union burst. Which, as you can see here, when we have finished this fight, our damage is now up to nearly 300 million, 298 million, which is up from the 212 we got with Ameth in the team. If we had timelines for this team, I'm sure the effects would be even greater. It would be amplified even more. Now, to put this into context, for this boss, there we go, we'll bring this up in a second. For this boss, we had, if we can go back over here, we had, for this boss, last clown battle, 309 million was about the highest we could get with that physical fire team. Now we've nearly scored that with a automatic team here, with Louise Marie on the team, instead of doing a pretty long and complicated timeline. So, there we go. That is what Louise Marie has brought to this fire magical team. So there we have it, Louise Marie. I have actually seen some people get even higher scores than I did against Madame Prism with that team, so the potential is definitely there. So let's quickly look at a comparison then of the two battles we just seen there. As we can see, Louise Marie's personal damage is not that big really. That's not what a role seemingly is on these teams. But everybody else's damage has gone up quite considerably. You can see the attack support she gave is huge once it starts permanently stacking there. And considering we are comparing it to Ameth's attack support, which is very good, you can see what kind of a buff Louise Marie is bringing to this fire magical team. I think we have just seen the core 5 characters of the fire magical team in action right there. So for summoning for Louise Marie, I know she's a very popular character. If it's waifu, well, I can't say otherwise, you're going to want to summon for her. But if you're going for the meta game, she's definitely very good if you want to build a fire magical team. If you can't build that team, say you're missing Xmas Ariel, you're missing Ariel Karachi, maybe you don't have Lind or Worm, then maybe it would be wise to skip and save your jewels for some stuff coming up in the future. I expect to see her in Clan Battle. Probably going to be very good to help with 610 Fire Deep Quest, and we'll probably see her in the future in the new Clan Battle modes. So there we go, that is Louise Marie. Let me know what you think of it. Everybody that is summoning for her, good luck to you with those summons. Let me know what you think. I am Tokkuri Yashi, and I will see you again for another video. Bye 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 bye. Hey!